Hello there everyone and welcome. My name's Joe, you're watching Green Card Back, and today we're taking a look at the Rogue One characters that we need the most in the Star Wars Vintage Collection. It's hard to believe how much Star Wars has changed in the 5 years since Rogue One came out. Back in 2015, I was in the minority that did not like The Force Awakens due to how damaging it was to George Lucas' story. And the toxic culture war that followed made the next 12 months as a Star Wars fan literally unbearable. When Rogue One came out, all of that noise went away. Here we had an action-packed standalone story that leaned hard into the lore rather than ignoring it, and gave us the non-Jedi Rebels vs Empire film that so many of us had wanted to see. It may have been fan service heavy, but so what? As a fan, I was in heaven, and that's the feeling I get whenever I rewatch it. Rogue One continues to be a great Star Wars experience. Anyway, enough spoilerific preamble. The crux of the issue is that we need more Rogue One characters in the Vintage Collection, and these are the characters that I think we need most of all. Let's start with the easy one. Last year's Vintage Collection Blue Leader X-Wing fighter with Merrick was a great use of an existing mould, but by packing the enormously popular Merrick as an exclusive with the ship, many collectors were either priced out or had to choose whether or not to keep him carded. So the first entry on this list is the easiest for Hasbro to achieve. A simple repack of what looks like an ace rendition of a character. If Hasbro wanted to take it a step further and make a new helmet that actually fits the figure's head, then even better. But let's take what we can get, hey? Next up is a character that I may be alone in wanting, but would indisputably make a great Vintage Collection figure all the same. As a member of Baze Malbus's Partisans, Fortuna is one of the many blink and you'll miss it aliens inhabiting Malbus's Jedha hideout. He caught my eye straight away due to how much he resembled early concept art for Fortuna, which is exactly why this guy struck a chord with me. Lucasfilm making him Fortuna's cousin is a bit too on the nose, at least for me, but Fortuna is a very cool looking character all the same. The chances are slim, but this is a character I would love to see in the Vintage Collection. Hasbro will love this one. All I'm proposing is a simple retool of the existing Stormtrooper mold, preferably the upcoming deluxe version with ankle tilts, with a big comms backpack and the Soundtrooper cannon. That's literally one sculpted accessory required to create a whole new figure, and a troop builder at that. With the current Stormtrooper base figure being as good as it is, I'd love to see it get as much mileage as possible, and this seems like a really easy way for Hasbro to do just that. What toy line is complete without the main bad guy? Not one worth collecting, that's for sure. Darth Krennic is capable and ambitious, and makes a great foil to Galen Erso. True, he never quite makes it to the level of Grand Moff Tarkin, but that's kind of the point. We did get a 5 POA figure in the Rogue One mainline, which is okay, but the non-photoreal head sculpt already looks dated. Darth Krennic is such an integral part of Rogue One's greatness, but I'd love to see him represented at his best in the 1/18th scale. Much like Fortuna, Benfic 2 Tubes left an instant impression on me when I first watched Rogue One. From his breathing apparatus to his cold, steely eyes, Benfic gives off the same kind of vibe as the aliens from Jabba's palace, only without several decades of familiarity. Now I could have gone for Benfic or his brother Edrio, but ultimately Benfic looks a lot cooler, which is what you want from your background alien characters. As well as being a very cool character design, Benfic can also fill 2 roles in your collection by standing with Enfys Nest as a Cloud Rider. Something I hadn't picked up on before researching this video. The first of the 2 obvious Rogue One characters that we need to see in the Vintage Collection is none other than Baze Malbus, former Guardian of the Whills. Given how well the 5 POA version turned out, you get the feeling that Hasbro would absolutely smash this character out of the park, with photoreal paint apps, all the articulation we've come to expect, and his massive chain gun and backpack. When we got Chirrut Imwe in the Vintage Collection just over a year ago, I was pretty confident that Baze would be following soon after. But here we are in 2022, and there's still no peep. Fingers crossed that changes sooner rather than later. Finally, my most wanted Rogue One character for the Star Wars Vintage Collection is Bodhi Rook, the pilot. The reason I've put Bodhi above Baze Malbus is because Baze's 5 POA figure is not terrible. The 5 POA Bodhi Rook figure, on the other hand, is really not very good at all. Tiny hands, a terrible lightness, and a distinct lack of playability make it one of the worst Star Wars figures of the modern era, at least in my view. Factor in the Bodhi Rook as a complex and welcome addition for Star Wars universe, and a vintage collection redo for a character becomes an absolute priority. So there you go, that is my 7 most wanted Rogue One vintage collection figures. Rogue One was something of a rallying point for fans during the dark days of the sequel era, and it's still a film that collectors want to celebrate. Hasbro, on the incredibly remote off chance that you're watching this, please do not leave Rogue One behind. That's all I've got for you today. Whether you agree or disagree with these choices, I would love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let's have a chat about which Rogue One characters you want to see in the vintage collection. Otherwise, please do like this video if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.